real-time numbers. Real-time numbers for the last 48 hours. I'm in a habit of doing this. I'm getting pretty much obsessed by it. I'm trying not to be. This is the last 48 hours. But it's so important. That's the thing. It's very important to what we're trying to do. So if we can't get a social media thing going, then we really will pretty much have no movement. And so we're just trying to see whether there's enough of good of humanity to want to support something good that's trying to create a power that becomes larger than what's going on right now. So we're asking you to join us in this, and by subscribing and by investing some time, then we can. No, I'm looking at videos. Okay, thank you. So the other half of the team is leaving now, so now I'm on my own. So we will continue to put in all the energy we need to put in so that we can show anyone interested that we're serious. Now, this is all premised from a show that we wrote that's called Truth. And I want to focus a lot of energy on that because that's pretty much the first, that's the creative product that came out of this desire to want to try and rebalance humanity, because that's pretty much an obscenely large goal. But I believe it can be done, especially with technology and social network the way it is. I'm sure throughout every part of this globe there's good within it, and I'm seeking that. I'm seeking the good within all communities throughout the globe, because that's what's necessary. Moving forward with the show, that 16 songs were written, and we're trying to figure out the best rhythms, best beats for it, but the flow of the show is pretty solid. And it basically is just two large premises and points about life, and that's that truth has to matter, because without truth there's no communication, really. You really are off balance all the time, and when you're off balance as a humanity, dangerous things happen. So truth has to matter, and it's up to us to make sure that we continue to try and instill truth by calling out bad when it is bad. Now, at this stage, we may be individuals, but hopefully if people listening to this have a little vision, they can see a bigger picture. And this show takes you through that as an individual. That's what it's all about. It's about you and not about anybody else. But being about you is also you becoming the person that you would want to be. And hopefully that would include helping out humanity. So we got a lot of original material. I personally like doing songs from other people all the time, but I got to figure out how best to do that. Anyway, I see that you're supporting us big time, because we're like, let's see, last hour, it's 7:55 here, and it's we did 693 views. Now, we were getting somewhere in the average of, we were getting in somewhere in the range of 400. Then, like, at like early in the morning, I don't know who the hell's on this, but there are people. Like, we never drop so far for a while. So this trend has to keep on growing. It seems like it's gone to another level and it's maintained at that other level. And so we need that to happen because my son graduates high school in a couple months, 2 months, and I want to end my journey of being a business owner and get out of the food industry once and for all. And I want the transition to be smooth. So I'm putting this show together, but that's going to take about 2 years. However, live performances is something I've trying to create as a reality for me. So with your help and over these months, hopefully you'll teach me a lot and you'll learn a lot. And together we can feel like we created a grassroots movement. And I mean, what's 180 plus subscribers now? Last week was 50, but with the amount of humans that are on this earth, that number could pretty much be 1 million in the next morning, right? It could, in theory. I know I'm not Justin Bieber or something like that, so I'm not like candy. I'm more like I'm like nutrition, I would hope. That's what I try to be. Nutrition for the mind, body, and soul. And so that's where I focus most of my thoughts on now because my son is 18 years old. And this all came about from, when he was like 15, realizing that shit, man, he's becoming a liar. And everyone around him seems to be liars. And I just was like losing all sorts of ability to communicate and trust. Albeit I tried trusting and I continue to trust, and he's getting to a point now where I'm very proud of him. He's got some ways to go though. He's got to finish off some things, and he's got to, make sure he's doing the right thing for him. And which includes education, which includes figuring out what it is you want to do in life before you decide what you're going to go to school for. It doesn't make sense to go to school to figure out what you want to do. You basically figure out what you want to do, research it, and then if you need that schooling, you do it. If you don't, then you create your own schooling because hopefully you know yourself better than anybody else. Anyway, doing good here. Maybe I'll show you some other things. This is a 28-day thing. So this 28 days, let's see. Okay, 28 days. Let's see, what's that? So we have 140,700 views. I'm actually a little down on that, but what I'm up on and what I like is that our average view time has gone up substantially. Like whereas it was before like 2 minutes and a half, now people are like, per view are like doing 8 and 9 minutes. And I like that. I mean, I would like more, but I understand how time is. But that's a good sign. And this is 28 days. And if we go to, let's see. Excuse me. Cough. What's that? Let's see a dashboard. There's one person there. It always says 1. Sometimes it's gone to 2 and 3, but anyway. Whoever that number 1 always is, because there always is a number 1. I wanna talk to you. You should say something. Says I should say something, you should say something. Say something, say something, say something, say something. Okay, let's go. So if there's an increase in so we got 183 subscribers, right? Now, to me, I'm thankful for every one of those. and but I look at, I'm a numbers guy when it comes to like humanity and what we're trying to do here. I'm really trying to like actually create a very large massive energy, human energy in this movement. So I would love it if anybody has any interest in trying to be part of something more positive, something that's thought provoking, something that will always be based in truth and can be verified by everything else that you've ever seen about me or what we've put online, because I don't have to worry about the content. I always stay in truth. And when you stay in truth, you don't have to worry about whether all these different angles and stories come together. It is what it is. It is truth, and it will all come together. And if anybody sees a discrepancy, I would love to talk to you about it, because I would love to explain and or see what that is. Because my premise and my theory is, when you live in truth, you don't ever have to worry about remembering specifics about anything. You're always in light. You're always not. You're always more efficient. You're not wasting time. You know. So that's the reason why you, besides the tranquility and living in peace of mind, you gain a lot of time, because when you get rid of all the lies and you get rid of all the hate, well, then you find a lot of time to create. So even if you have a very busy schedule, it's you find time to allocate, and day by day, if you know what you want to do, then you can create and adjust or reinvent your reality. I've seen it, I've done it, I'll continue to do it till I die. But this is the journey I want to take now, because I take with me a half a century of experiences, and that's a lot of music, because I've been a music lover my whole life. So I just want to get to know those of you out there that are supporting this show. So if you feel at all you ever want to communicate, feel free. My people will let me know if they've answered, or I'll be more than happy to talk with anyone. I just don't want to eat up time. Let me change cameras. Maybe you should see a little. I don't want to eat up time like trying to address one person or one issue at a time. I don't have that much time left on Earth, you know. So this is something that if it needs to go into a large subsystem of streaming that through different communities, and hopefully you'll send this to someone, and if I can improve it, or if there's something more that you want to know, I'm going to be releasing videos explaining the whole journey. You know, I got stuff before, and I see what I want to do in the future. And this play, we want to get it on Broadway in 2 years, and we want to have it be something that's licensed out to theater and school programs throughout the world. We believe in this project big time. And the songs, if I do say so myself, I think they take you on a nice journey, and all different styles of music in there, because I'm a big fan of music. You know, all music, all music. And my son keeps me posted on new, so I'm always on there, because you know, as an older person, you always think you're in the know until your child says, "Hey, listen to this." So I love it all, and I try and incorporate it all the different musical energies, and I try and see if there's a blending of it. So I think I've actually created my own style in terms of, like, I don't think you'll ever think of anybody else when you see me or hear me perform, because I've worked very hard not to be different, but to find my who I am. And you know, I'm well over, I'm at 9,000 hours, just about 9,000 hours of concentrated time on figuring out, including creating the show and all that, but starting from sitting in my car, screaming out the top of my lungs down the turnpike, blowing my vocal cords and doing it all in my own impromptu way. And also learning how to play instrument by ear. I have no grounding in formality. It all comes from my originality of my head. And that's in many ways good. But it's also, I'm not a musician's musician. I am someone who uses an instrument to get whatever sound is in his head out. And I keep getting better at that, which is good. Anyway, I appreciate the time, and let's see, is there more than one? No, you're still there. In and out, in and out. It says layers, one watching now. It always says one, but then it says there's like 15 and 20 later. So I don't know how this whole system works. Anyway. All right, so you see, I'll close it out real quick because it's 8:07, and I normally, my son is finishing up his homework and working on, he wants to get into some music with me on something he's been working on. So I want to give him at least a half hour and see. You see, that's not bad, man. That's like an opportunity. I would hope to stay. That would be awesome if you stay there. But then my question is, if you can stay there, you see that? If you can stay there, then with humanity, can't that easily be 6,000? Can it be 6,000? I know that it's not about greed, it's about needing to make this movement happen. So please, whatever support you can give in terms of any time to evaluate and try and figure out what it is this is and see if it makes sense to you. We're restricted on how we can format it because if we're using YouTube. We have a web page, but it's not designed by us, so it's like one of those that we but it's awesome. My team has put it together as well as it can be and continues to be. We want to get this story pretty much in a concise manner. So our focus now is to try and talk about hold on. I thought we were looking at rolling. It's not bad, right? I thought I was showing you that before, but I was really just not. So you see that for the last couple hours, it's been pretty awesome. That would be a place I'd love to stay for a while. But then I'm saying, like, with the number of humanity, a number of people, if we wanted to really, if you were really interested and you wanted to help, imagine if like all of these 652 people decided to take a moment and say, you know what, let me just freaking subscribe to this and let me turn a couple of people onto it. This would get so much more interesting so quickly. And we got a lot to do, man, because in 2 years there's a major decision for all under 2 years, and it will affect all of humanity forever. So between now and then, we have to get all the truth out there so that, this isn't about sides on anything. This is just about, we have to rebalance the scales of justice, and there's got to be truth. If there isn't, then everything starts to collapse. And if you have children, I don't even know how you're teaching them. And that's how this all came about, is me trying to explain to my son the value of truth. And so, in many ways, humanity is going to verify whether what I'm trying to put forth you're interested in hearing, or if you want to take this to the edge of the cliff and see what happens. But when you go to the edge of the cliff, there's what happens. There's nowhere to go. You fall. So we should all wake up. We should all want to seek the truth within your own communities, and you should surround yourself with people who like to seek the truth as well, because then you have understanding, and you have relating. You can relate, and there's connection. And at that moment, you decide as a community, how you want things to be. But lies can never be, because if you allow that to rule, you're allowing the destruction, eventual destruction, falls out of your government entity or your municipality or your organization or your family or your friends, your circle, whoever it is. It all goes back to those connections. So you should all want to know more and investigate more about truth and how much you want in your life, and realize that truth is what you'll be able to base certainty on. When you can have certainty, you can navigate. When you can navigate, you can arrive at destinations. So with that said, see, I may, where are we over here? Let me see, go back to the analytics for a second. Okay, so it's 8:11, and we're at 109, and I like to be 10 per minute or more, so I'm a little behind there. You see how it can get a little addicting? Yeah, but it's so important. That's why. It's not that it's just like this isn't this is necessary. I need to get this going in order to get this thing going. If this doesn't go, this dies, because I can't just pursue and not have a livelihood eventually, because I'm basically downsizing all of my businesses as I've been doing, and I'm shedding them. And I was hoping to time it when my son graduates high school and go into a social media campaign for this and have it create a life and do live performances of the show, and create also a reality side to it of being a father and how this came about, and the evolution of life. I'm a middle-aged man who basically has much education and many experiences, but no retirement. No retirement. Maybe you should look at me when I said it. Yeah. So I'm a middle-aged man with, a lot of experience and a lot of education, and I've worked my whole life, and I have zero retirement, and I have nothing in the bank. I go day by day. That's not the way I want it, but that's been the necessity of the journey over the last 3 years to avoid total collapse. Anyway, but in that process, this has been created. So I really hope that you. Hold on. Really? Right. So go back to analytics for a minute. How long have I been on this? 23 minutes. It's a long time. But I think it's important what I'm talking about. So, it's been there for a while. Switch it over here. You get a little bit. See that continues to go. Why do I keep moving that? I control this. Right? Alright, so that's now, where are we? 132 and 14 minutes. So I'm a little bit behind. It should be 140 something if that was gonna. No, I'm a little bit behind. But I can't get consumed by that. But if this was generating thousands per hour, then I would realize that there's some sort of there's some sort of trending going on. I guess that's what they call it. I don't think this will ever go viral, because it's not that type of thing. Like I said, it's not someone fucking. Sorry, didn't mean to curse. It's not a rake hitting you in your face. It's not a dog doing a cute trick, or someone dying in a car accident. I get all that, but this is a bigger picture, and I would hope that all intelligent human beings would take a moment to think about where humanity is going and realize that we do have the power. Individually, we don't. That's for darn sure, but that's what this is all about. But at 183 subscribers, I don't have any leverage, and I need to get there. So I'm looking for your help. With that said, I'll give you a little rundown of how it's been today, because this is today's, right? It's nice. It shows that there's an interest, because I really don't have money to be paying for ads all the time and stuff like that. So this is really just a lot of people that are coming across it and sending it other places, I guess. So if we could get to 10 million subscribers, no, I'm kidding. I would like that though, on a serious note. Yeah, on a serious note, it would be nice. Imagine if you could say we had 10 million subscribers. We'd have some power. If we could get 10 million, then we can get 100 million. If we could get 100 million subscribers supporting humanity and the value of truth and one's individual culpability in their actions, and we try to minimize all the lies and the hate and blaming other people for your journey, for your present state, and procrastinating. If we got rid of all that, you find all that time, and then if you have a massive organization that's supported by a huge amount, and we're there for simply one reason, all walks of life, we're there for one reason, and that reason is to call out all freaking misdirection of truth. You know, now there's disasters in the world. I'm not looking, like I've said before, I guess the other camera went out, so no more analytics. That's what you got. And I also think it's long enough that I've been on. So with that said, tomorrow's another day, Sunday. Today is Saturday, 8/18, May 11th. I'm hoping that I wake up in the morning and, there's another couple hundred subscribers. That would be great, because it would just add a lot of motivation and energy. But I'm not going to stop, because I have to do my part. And that's what I told my son. You know what I mean? We can't live in a world of the Vikings and pirates where there's no law and the oceans become all unsafe. People leading our countries leave us empty like all the other poor countries. They were raped by their own government, their own people, by and large. No one's immune from that. So truth has to be what guides everyone. I hope you join us. Please subscribe. Good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. I'll do music tomorrow. I won't be so serious.